Good morning, everybody. Well, Pat Oates is Awoke. The second show yesterday started off in a whopping no one watched live, but a ton of people watched afterwards. That's progress to start. Just trying to figure this whole thing out anyway. Still have music on here. That shouldn't be a thing. But yesterday we were ranting and raving and going nuts about the guy who was trolling me, well, using me to help troll people on Instagram and everything. People asked me all about that as I complained about. People watched the video and saw that. Not going to reveal anyone's name. It's nuts. People started telling me about people have trolled them, things like that, and I don't care. It was about me. This is definitely not caught on. Pat Oates is Awoke. Everything is me. Kidding, but if the more and more I thought about it, and for those who didn't watch yesterday's video, a guy went on Instagram, was trolling someone, and it didn't work out in his favor. So he started to, when they got mad at what he said, he blamed something he heard me say on my podcast and said that was the joke he was stealing from me. And that is why he was being a dick. It was somehow my fault. And then I saw him tag that and started writing some bad things about me. And I was upset. He was also saying I was unpopular and this and that, which, once again, love that term, unpopular. My new credit might be here he is, the very unpopular Pat Oates. I think I might embrace that moniker more than take it as a bad thing. I think that's hilarious. But you know, for this stage, you might know him from not knowing him. He is a very unpopular Pat Oates. A fantastic name to me. One of the best things you could say about someone rather than the dumb credits. As comics, we're always, can you please say this thing? It's like, why? Why do we even have credits? I don't even understand the whole thing with the credits. It's like they're already there. Now, I get credits to get you in if you're trying to get booked by a club or a producer of a show or something like that, or to promote a show. You know, in 2 weeks, come see so and so. He was on this show. You might have seen, kind of, sort of, whatever, or he would have did that, whatever. But if they're already there on the middle act and they already sat through one comic, you know, and I'm like, oh, you need to tell them that I was on TLC. I don't think anyone's going to sit there in their seat and go, oh, TLC? I'll stay. I was going to leave in the middle of the show and I bought a ticket. I have to buy 2 drinks anyway, but I'll just run away. No, just get up there and tell you jokes. You just sell it. And stop using names of other comics as your credits. That part is ridiculous. You go up there and say, this next guy, he one time opened for Jim Jeffries and he opened for Chris Rock and he opened for so. Oh, you're going to mention better and funnier people? Is that what you do? Like, before I sleep with you, man, I've slept with better than so and so. What are you doing? Putting weird expectations on things. I think the credit's silly that works. So here he is, the very unpopular, or the comedy stylings. I always say that when I think a guy's terrible. I'm going to host an open mic and a guy stinks. I'm like, oh, here goes the comedy stylings. The guy who stinks. I don't know what comedy styling means. But anyway, so that guy said the unpopular thing and all that. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, it was a little flattering that guy listened, and then when he got in trouble, said, "No, not my fault, Pat Oates," because that's what happened. So I felt like a local legend, if you will, with that whole thing there. And that was in my head a little bit, but whatever. But yesterday I went for a run. I was at the gym and then went for a run. And running this week. I was doing treadmill for a while, and then I was nice out. I'm like, why not? And I couldn't run for a long time. I don't know if a lot of people know this about me. I would try and do things years ago. Just day contacts, not and one and do the other. But the week before 9/11, I got in a very bad car accident when I was still married. I was drinking and driving, and the car. I fell asleep. The car went over a guardrail on a highway, and car flew in the air, hit a telephone pole. Engine block came through the car. Drove into my heel, destroying my heel. I also broke ribs. I broke a couple other bones. For a couple moments, they thought there was going to be no Pat Oates is a dead would have been the show, but my heel is completely destroyed. There's like half a tendon holding things together. They took whatever bone was left and they made it into like a little wacky fist or whatever. And that's what my heel is. I've obviously recovered from everything else there, and life has been great, been fine ever since. But constant pain, always arthritis. I was somebody who always ran, was always athletic. Can't really do all the things, but I've pushed myself and done all that, but I also put on weight in my life, and that didn't help it either. But now losing 50 pounds, being able to, it doesn't hurt as much. I think less weight on there and no swelling because eating all those grains and wheats and breads and shit, even though they're delicious and I love and do miss them. And it sucks when I see someone eating a burger and their mouth is making sweet love to that cheeseburger, and I have a fork and knife as I have my meat without the bread. I miss it all, but I don't miss it the way I feel when my face feels thinner. Way I just feel better in the morning. Um, all that stuff. But being able to run now. So I was doing my normal run where there's this river walk near the gym, and it's really nice. So you can run around by the river and by the park and all that. And then usually I walk through my town, my city, whatever, for like for the last mile to walk home. And I was feeling energetic, and I was like, "Screw the walk back! I'm gonna keep running." I ran like an extra mile and a half. And as I was running, I saw there's a big billboard, and I don't know. The billboard had a man holding a baby, and the baby, he's in there holding it, and it says underneath, it says a human heartbeat is that starts in 18 days or 12 days, whatever the stat was. I saw it quickly running, but it just said, "Real men love babies." And hey, I don't know why. I'm a child. So I always like creepy, like, oh, I'm happy you guys found love. Hopefully it's consensual. But I obviously I'm getting the message. So I don't know. I'm running. I'm on this road where people just it's and Sony is not a great city. I don't know. I'm all for people, I guess, having their opinions, but why? I've never once sat here. I've got bills I can't pay. I've got two kids who I love. I've got the stress of trying to be a comic entertainer and trying to do things, and it just does not pay well. Um, trying to find love in life, trying to find friends, trying to make myself feel healthier and better. We've got all these stressors in life. I have never once sat and thought, I hope that lady down the street keeps her baby. I've never once thought that in my life. And once again, I think the problem with our world in this thing, it's really cool that I can do this and people can look at this, and that's fantastic. But we have too many opinions that we're just yelling out so people can hear us. I will never care if anyone wants to make love to a woman or a man. If they want to have a baby, not have a baby. They want to, whatever they want to do. Let them do it. It doesn't bother me. You got a billboard. How? Um, who are you talking to? If you said like, if the billboard said, "Hey Janice, don't have an abortion," then you know what? I would from Phil. And he's like, "Yeah," I would get the billboard. Phil was mad. He had extra cash in his hand. It's kind of like that movie where the guy holds the radio over his head. And he's like, "I love you." It's like, he's like, "Keep it in your belly." Like, I get that. But what that man? What's that? I'm driving. I'm just like, It's like, what are you doing to my day? And I don't know. And I think there's just certain things we shouldn't yell on billboards. If you're having a conversation and it comes down to laws and trying to say that stuff, hey, people should be allowed to do what they want to do when it comes to that kind of shit. And that's just my opinion. Unless you're gonna, I think if someone says you have to keep it, you're not allowed to have abortions. You go, okay, fine. Then here, when I'm done, you keep it and you own the baby. Now you pay for it. If that's trying to run and not needing to be bummed the fuck out as I'm running, it's this giant billboard, this man holding a baby. And it's like, I want to sit on that billboard part with a baby myself, and like, I wouldn't say love. We're still in the process of getting to know each other. But what happened? Just put a billboard that tells me what exit McDonald's is on. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's about. No one's making decisions on billboard, looking at a billboard anyway. I don't think anybody. I mean, if that did happen, I guess that's cool. If somebody was driving, like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have this baby, and I haven't talked to the father, I don't know if I can have it or not have it. And they look up, and the sign of billboard God is like, hey, don't do, keep it. Make real men love it. But like, what if she hated that real man? She got look. You might be helping the wrong side. She was like, real man. Yo, I'm not with a real man, so I guess I don't have to have this. It's just like I don't know. It's a weird thing to do that. So running back and getting ready. I'm writing. I've been writing this best man speech for someone and doing a thing and trying to get that done. And we did the Pat Oates Sad podcast yesterday, which was really fun. We had Joe Reddington and Dan Brown were both on. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you've already heard it and seen it and all that. The video of it is up. Actually, we started doing video as well. That's up here on the YouTube page as well. So if you want to see the podcast, check it out. Brandon Smith joined us again, and we had some really good talks, especially if you're a young comic and struggling with not getting gigs. You're going to mics, you're doing your thing, and you're not getting gigs. We really get into how it's got to be on you to fucking get out there and tell people I want to perform, I want to be on stuff because we can't. Listen, if you're a comic, if you're a musician, if you're an artist, you're probably not the most socially adept person in the world. That's just how those kind of two things go together. Um, I'm I'm not the greatest at being social, but when I am, I'm alpha male of the conversation. I dominate it and I talk. There's a reason why I'm sitting here talking to a computer at 7 o'clock in the morning because that works better for me to just talk and have no one else talk the best. But some comics are the opposite. The only time they really speak their thoughts and feel clear is when they can talk on a platform that allows others not to talk. But then after that, or at the mic, you're supposed to go up and network and go up to people. And an awkward person and an awkward person are supposed to get together and discuss all, I'd like to work for your show. I'd love to have you on the show. That's just not, it's a bunch of weird Sims not getting together and not talking. So sometimes you can't sit there and go, well, I did well on stage. That person saw me. They should know I'm funny. That should be how it works. In life, there's a lot of ways things should work. Doesn't mean it's going to fucking work that way. You need to go up to that person and say, hey, how are you? I hear you put on so-and-so show. I saw a flyer you have here. Where do I send my emails? My contact. Oh, Pat, I'm not comfortable just asking for things. But you're comfortable going on stage and talking about your penis. You have no problem yelling out insane things about your opinions on TV shows and if this person's gay and that's not gay, and your wacky jokes. But you can't ask about a gig. That's where our disconnect. And then that's what that podcast was really about. It was a lot of fun having Joe Reddington on, who I haven't seen in a while since New York. It was fun having him there. And then we went off and did the inaugural, is that what you say for the first thing? The first open mic we're having now at Rascal Flats in Stanford, and it was a fun turnout. We had 12 comics, decent small little crowd. Even though the people sitting there were told there was going to be open mic, I don't think they were all really prepared for what was going to happen. But everyone stayed except for one group that was obviously there. I mean, if you're a group of 8 people that were there after work trying to hang out and hit on each other and have a couple beers, you don't want to be quiet. So I understood that, but nobody was jerks. And we had a great turnout and it was a lot of fun. And we're going to be doing it every Monday. So if you're a comic especially in the Fairfield County area or New York City, it's a quick train right down, right in Stamford, Connecticut. It was a fun time. I hosted it and worked out some new material, some things I will never utter again. Yeah, it was a blast. Had a lot of fun there. Get into the open mic swing. If you're somebody who's been doing comedy for a couple of years and you're like, well, I don't need open mics anymore. We all need it. You need to see the hunger. I need to see people a year or two in working as hard as I did a year or two in to make me want to work that hard, to keep writing, to keep pushing things. And to me, it's the same thing as going to the gym. The more I go to the gym, the more I go running, the better I feel about myself, my improvement. The more I go to the open mic, the more I be around people that work hard, the better I feel about my comedy. The more I talk to a camera like this, the worse I feel about how I look, but it's better. And yeah, and I've been dealing with this a lot. A lot of anyone goes through change, especially if you lost a lot of weight or whatever. A lot of people are saying to me, "Oh wow, Pat, look at you, you look skinny." I got you look skinny or you look thinner or look you lost weight. Positive. That was probably for like 2 or 3 days, and now everybody wants to go. Oh, you look sick. Like, there's no 183 pound ill child. I don't know that one at all. I didn't realize how fat apparently I was to everyone. I didn't realize I was, a monster. I was 234 pounds. That's the smallest guy on a football team a lot of times. Like, I just had a little chubby in the face and I had a bigger beard and I cut the beard down. People are saying they don't really like that. I don't really like them. I don't care. I wanted to see if my face was fat anymore. I wanted to see if there was wrinkles. I'm 43, smooth as a baby. Look at this shit. The only wrinkles are in my forehead when I get mad. But I wanted to see what's going on there. You know what I mean? Wanted to see what it all looked like. I'll never take it all the way off because I look like Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine when I do not have any facial hair, or just like an old turtle. I don't know, but it just it feels good to be around people that have the same passion and drive as you. And anything you do, you should be around that because you just do anything on your own. It's easiest to quit and do those things. When I'm writing, I like to chat with people I know that write. I don't need them. I definitely, when it's time to do my work, I do my thing on my own. But it's better to be around it. So what I'm basically saying is, go to my fucking open mic on Mondays so we don't lose it. How's that? Okay. We had a ton of good. We had 12 comics, and the people seem to enjoy it afterwards. I mean, hosting it, believe me, it's not a glory thing. I'm going up front trying to let people know what it is, and then they're like, "We don't care about your thoughts. We don't care about this thing and that thing." No, great. And then when the other comics came up, they listen to them. So that was my job to take that. So we have some more of this tea, but and now I got today is going to be the madness of finishing up the best man speech thing. I've got my last half article I've got to write this week, which I'm pretty sure I'm all set in what I'm going to write. I think this week the comedy advice is going to be kind of what I was talking about before with the credit, but more about our obsession as comics. A lot of comics, when they start out, their obsession is all about, hey, I want to open for so and so. I see that this name person is going to be at this local club I go to, and man, I want to open for them because we get the delusions of grandeur. And we're like, if I meet them and they see my 5 minutes, they're going to take me on the road and make me famous. And that's no, that person is just doing their job and going through life, and they're meeting a version of you every weekend forever. And that's dumb to instead of focusing and worrying about people that made it and you impressing them, go be around the people that are closer to what your goals are. Go watch the guy who's middling, hosting, and headlining the local shows that you're hoping to be on in the next couple of years. See how they're working and attacking things. Pick their brains. They're the ones that are in the steps you're going to make to go look at the 1%, the 2%, the popular people. I mean, Mr. Unpopular here, but you can learn more from Mr. Unpopular than you can learn from a guy who's made it and has been so famous and doesn't worry about bills or that kind of stuff, where he's just in the system now and going through all different clubs all the time. You can watch and believe me, it's fun. If they do give you a second to talk to you, great. But they're not going to have that connection with you because they don't have that hunger. They've got someone giving them gigs now. They're not fighting for that thing. You can't learn from that person. And also sometimes you'll blow off better opportunity. I know a comic who one time blew off getting a hosting gig at a small club where the featured headliner were not known comics at all. Very good working comic, not known, but blew it off so he could host at a club with a well-known national name, and because they thought that was a better gig. But that club that booked that huge name, and I called them last second. Hey, they probably if they called them and said, "Hey, we need you," we had someone drop out, we need you. They probably, if he said, no, I'm sorry, I'm booked, they probably would have respected the person more and said, oh, wow, they're busy all the time. Make sure we book them in advance next time. But also, it was just another show. And you're doing that show, and you're not going to move up in a huge club like that. You're not going to move up much. You might move a certain level, but then they're going to go after the big national things that aren't you, local boy. So you're not going to get that. But if he did the smaller club and he did that hosting thing, he has a better chance in that club to move up and do better and learn from those people that are where he was 2 or 3 years ago and learning through that system and going through that club. We get too enamored with the name thing. Like, it's like, I worked with so and so. Yeah, but you're not. You're bragging off their credentials. That's what your credit is. They worked hard, and I met them, which is weird. It's an odd thing to have as a brag. It's like, and we all get caught up in that shit too. And it's nice to go see it, but learn from the people around you, the people that have done the things you've done, the people that 5 years earlier were you struggling and not knowing where to get gigs and not knowing who to ask. That's who you're going to learn from. And go watch how they tackle. I'm going to write an article kind of about like more about focus. I've been writing a lot about that lately, but that'll be coming out soon. My last staff article will probably be about by Thursday. Um, that there. The Pat Oates Sad podcast, new episode with Joe Reddington and Dan Brown will be up Wednesday morning. So please go subscribe on iTunes. 5 stars. It really helps to search for all that stuff there. And make sure you check that out. The Pat Oates Awoke will be doing this every morning. The more I do this, the more I'll get a format. Maybe not just go, random thoughts from my head, but that's kind of what I normally do anyway. Go to patoates.com to check out the my schedule. Shows coming up. Light week this week for me, but that's good because I got a lot of writing and things to do. Which I tell myself when I'm sad and crying because I have no gigs. But mid-June on through the summer, my summer's looking pretty strong. End of June, I'll be at Comics Wicked Sun from the Wednesday to the Sunday, that whole week there. So hosting the comedy contest, middling for I forget his name now, but I mean the middle active throughout the week as well. Doing 3 shows on Saturday, doing the matinee show and all that stuff. So make sure you go check all that stuff out. Please go support our Patreon, Patos or the Comedy LOL. I'm sorry, Patreon for the Comedy LOL Network. In about 2 weeks, the Comedy LOL Podcast Network will be launched, and myself, Brandon Smith's Brandon Bonanza podcast, and 3 other podcasts that are very good, strong, awesome podcasts with some great personalities from the Connecticut area will all be together on this network. We're going to be working a lot of great things, but if you go on the Patreon, you can start getting the Pat Oates Sad podcast a day or 2 in advance, the video as well. You can start giveaways, things like that, exclusive stuff just to that. But make sure you go support that. Make sure you're liking the Comedy LOL and subscribing to the YouTube here. And so you get the notifications, click that little bell. So 7:15 or whenever in the morning, I start doing this shit. You can wake up with me. And then if people are watching or listening, if you write a little comment, I can see it. We can start talking. I want to start getting interactions going down the road. If anyone's watching this throughout the day and wants me to rant about anything or complain about stuff or say anything, message me or just comment underneath, and I will work on that the next morning. My album, Good Try, has been doing really well on Spotify and everywhere else. I'm psyched that people are listening to it. I really didn't know who the hell was going to listen to it. It's on Spotify, iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, Google Play. Anyways, we can find it. Go find Pat Oates' Good Try. Check it out. It was something I'm very proud of putting out there, and I'm happy to be writing all new stuff now. But check that out. Thank you guys for listening this morning to me rant about whatever. Avoid any crazy billboards. Goodbye from the unpopular Pat Oates. Have a great morning.